Life is real.
How does it go?
Life is earnest.
And the grave is not its goal. Dust thou art, to dust returnest, was not spoken of the soul.
My mother is 95 years old, and she has been living independently in her house in Detroit for ever since my dad passed away, 1988, over 20 years. She's been living alone. And in recent years, she started losing her memory, which made it difficult for her, difficult for us rather, to keep her in her home alone. She felt like she was fine, but she would forget to eat. She would lose track of time and have to call people and find out what day it was. And so we decided in the long run it would be better if she moved into assisted living, where someone would be with her 24/7 and be able to take care of her and watch out for her.
In the year 1900, there were 4 million adults 65 and over. In 1975, that number turned to 20 million. Right now, we're at about 37.5 million. We're headed towards about 75 million in 2050. That is in the United States alone, and we're not even one of the oldest countries. When people reached age 65 in 1900, they had a life expectancy of about 10 years. Now they have a life expectancy of about 20. Older adults who are healthy have lots of great opportunities to participate. Great resource are the senior centers that are around. So I think of St. Pat's here in Detroit. I think of the Rochester Older Persons Center. I think of the one in Farmington Hills at the Costic Center. These are very rich places for older adults to go. There's lots of activities and socialization, things that they like to do, as well as a lot of good health opportunities. The Hannon Foundation, Hannon House, right here in Detroit, has a place for artists, has a place for storytellers who are older. A lot of focus there on creativity and aging. There is a trend toward people staying in their homes, aging in place. It's not always a great thing, because towards the end of life, especially for older women, they get frailer. They spend many more years in a condition of frailty. So they might benefit by being in a community where there's other older people where they can do more. But some of the economic realities are such that people can't afford to move. As well, people have a very strong attachment to home. So place matters.
Well, the greenhouse concept was developed by Dr. William Thomas, who also was the founder of the Eden Alternative. The Eden Alternative is based on homelessness, helplessness, and loneliness being the three plagues of like the traditional nursing home setting. And Dr. Thomas looked at the traditional setting, realized there could be something better than the standard structured medical model, really putting the elder at the center. The greenhouse concept comes from that, and actually, in fact, it was like moving into small homes, ranch-style homes that would look like any other home in a community, keeping the population, the elder population in the homes at a low level, 10 to 12, and making it more home. The layout of our home and most of the homes is really right around that central kitchen. The Shabazim do all the cooking from scratch, so they're busy in the kitchen a lot of the day. The elders are right there. The layout of the rooms is really so that they can walk out of the room at any time and see all the life that's going on in the home. The Shabazim are all certified nurse aides. And that's one of the basics that they have to be. However, most of our Shabazim have come from a lot of different walks of life. They didn't just start as nurse aides. They came to the job knowing that it was a very expanded role, one that was going to call on them to bring a lot of skills to the table. One thing that's standard in all greenhouse homes is the long table. Dr. Thomas believes, and we all believe, that everyone deserves a seat at the table. most of the folks in the house, after a short time, really respond to one another very much like, very close friends or family. If somebody doesn't come to the table in the morning, elders at the table want to know where they are and how come they're not out, and are they okay? Are they feeling okay? After the first year, I believe there were 50 in the country. I went to the annual meeting this year. The numbers were something like 220 open or about to open homes in the country in 29 states. So on a yearly basis, it's growing rapidly.
Humanizing long-term care is always a good thing, a great thing. And the Eden Alternative and the greenhouses go to great lengths to make a facility a home.
Oh, yeah, we have with her.
It's a big challenge the way our long-term care industry is set up, because long-term care beds are primarily paid for by Medicaid, which is, of course, the lowest payer of all the payers for long-term care. And so it's hard to expand greenhouses and Eden Alternatives across the board because the staffing ratios just don't allow it.
Baby boomers in particular, as people realize and accept the notion that they're getting older and they need more, but also have the understanding of what's gone on before and what can be, I think more and more baby boomers are going to look for places like this.
How would I want to be cared for? No, I wouldn't want my children to look after me. I don't want to complicate the relationship. If there were a way to integrate the elderly into our society, into our neighborhoods, so we're not all compartmentalized like we are, that would be wonderful. It would be really cool to think of maybe having a house in a neighborhood that in a regular neighborhood, maybe having neighborhood kids stop by, whatever, but to have a caretaker present in a home situation where maybe there would be several elderly people there. Because no, I wouldn't want to be alone. I don't think I'd like that at all. I'd still want to be a part of a community. And this is me as the 54-year-old Paulette talking. The fact is, my mom, 95, is pretty tired a lot of the time. And I think she would be just as content sitting in her room and not having to do anything. Maybe you just don't want to play bingo. You just don't want to, go down into happy hour in the lounge and have punch and cookies. And you don't want to have people treating you like you're a child again when you're really an adult.